Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. It's just gone 7 after 8 o'clock on a very, very cold Gauteng morning, specifically here in Johannesburg. And winter's truly set in our part of the world. But as I always say, there's a reason for the seasons. It is it is News and Views this morning with me, Julie Ali. Welcome to the program. It's the 22nd of June, and great to be here with you once again. We are going to be talking about something very painful, I might add. It's painful because of our selectivity. And the question we are going to be asking this morning is, from Palestine to Pan-Africanism, is solidarity selective? Absolutely, it is unquestionably selective. It depends on the color of your skin, I guess. And it also depends from which part of the world you originate. Is it the global north or the global south? Not forgetting that when we talk global north, we're also including the Middle East. So let's speak with Madison Bannon. She is with Siyafana Sonkhe. She's an activist, and she's going to talk about this matter. And I think it is a wake-up call, is it not? A very good morning to you, Madison. Welcome to the program. Lovely to have you here. You can't hear me. I can see you looking a bit confused there. Let's take a break. I'm going to tell our viewers and listeners what else is lined up for the show, and let our technical producer try and sort out that issue. So it's 9 after 8 o'clock. This is News and Views with me, Julie Ali. As always, alhamdulillah, lovely to be with you. And also coming up on the show today, we are going to be talking with Maulana Ibrahim Musa. He is with the Palestine Information Network. We are also going to be talking about, or rather we're going to view a clip and talk to General Manager Retail Wealth and Marketing at Al Baraka Bank. That is Nazir Sidat, and he's going to talk about banking with purpose. Press TV correspondent in South Africa, Hassan Seria, will join us. And once again, it's the big question. It's the question being asked all around the world. And that is, has the US-Iran relationship reached a turning point? And also on the show, Dr. Angelique Coetzee, Vice Chairperson of the Unity Forum for Family Practitioners, and she's going to look at the issue around the United Nations moving in as South Africa faces looming PEPFAR funding crisis. And of course, like I've said, we are going to try and reconnect with Madison Bannon. But one more interview that we are going to try and bring to you is the issue in Zimbabwe, and a big question there: is Zimbabwe's democracy under threat? This has to do with their parliament deciding to renew or perhaps extend the term of a sitting president from 5 years to 7. And that does raise concerns, does it not, knowing that their current sitting president will be turning 80 in a couple of years' time. And if they do extend Mnangagwa's term, then he will be in his early 80s when, whilst he is still in office. And I kind of wonder, is there a point in time, should there be some sort of a pensioner cut-off date and time for sitting presidents? Because it's not about ageism, because we do know with age comes deep wisdom. But you kind of wonder, are they not stuck in very archaic principles? And perhaps should we not allow the younger generation to start coming in and taking over, because of course they're moving with the times, but not too young, might I add. We're talking about your 40s or mid 40s onwards. But I think it is time that the world woke up to the fact that we need to let the older sitting heads of parliament and presidents retire, because they are very stuck in their ways. And of course, I'm making a generalization, but it's something to think about. Okay, I see a picture of Madison Bannon on screen, which means she's back with us. A very, very good morning to you, Madison. Can I ask you, please, just to give us 2 more minutes? Let us take our first set of ad breaks, and then we can chat with you uninterrupted for at least 15 minutes. So please stand by.
Perfect.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
You know, it's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil, triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
More than 800 million people around the world live in deep poverty, uncertain of where the next meal will come from. For those on the brink of starvation, a food pack means survival, dignity, and hope. Send food. Send kindness. Be the reason a family does not go hungry. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Are you banking with convenience, transparency, and flexibility? With Al Barakah Bank's transactional banking account, you can enjoy convenient everyday banking designed around your needs. Benefit from zero fees on point-of-sale transactions and manage your banking easily through Al Barakah's secure mobile banking app and internet banking platform. From everyday payments to managing your personal or business banking, Al Barakah makes banking simple, transparent, and convenient. Visit albarakah.co.za to learn more. Al Barakah, your partner bank. Al Barakah Bank Limited is an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Africa. Give the gift of clean water with Africa Muslims Agency. With every water well or borehole you donate, your drop becomes a river, reconnecting communities to nourishment, education, dignity and empowerment. Sponsor a water well for 17,000 Rand in Africa or a borehole for 65,000 Rand in Afghanistan or Africa. Quench the thirst. Reconnect the soul with Africa Muslims Agency.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Welcome back. It is exactly 16 after 8 o'clock, and our first guest for this morning is Madison Bannon. She's an activist with Siyafana Sonkhe. Hope I've got that right. And of course, we kick right off by asking the all-important question, and that is, are we in this country very good at the performance of liberation? I agree, we are. We talk a lot. It's all talk and no action regarding liberation. We sing the right songs. We carry the right flags. We file the cases at The Hague. And then we go home to arrangements of power that have not fundamentally shifted from 1994. What's gone wrong? Why this confusion with us as a people, very especially currently when we look at the situation of anti-Africanism and our anger, which has been directed at other Africans. And I say other, I mean Africans from the rest of Africa. Madison Bannon, a very good morning to you. Welcome. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, is it not? Very especially if we don't want to hear the facts.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julie, and good morning. Thank you for having me. To your point of what you said, I mean, I think really what has gone wrong is that we bought into the economic capitalism and globalism that entrenches inequality. And you can have as much political democracy as you can get. And South Africa is a wonderful democracy. I don't want to get us wrong. There are many places where it is very dangerous to engage in activism, to engage in protest, to engage even in dialogue. And South Africa is not one of those places. South Africa is a wonderful place to be involved in struggle, and has an
Okay, Madison's picture has just frozen. We're not really
yeah.
getting very far with this. Oh, there she is. Okay,
Sorry.
your picture froze there. You please do repeat what you were saying about our democracy, and let's not take it for granted. Please go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. No, South Africa is a wonderful place to be involved in struggle. There are many places around the world where it is very unsafe to be involved in activism, and South Africa is not one. It is a place for robust dialogue. It's a place for engagement, but it's that economic structure that has entrenched inequality. It's the same inequality we had in apartheid. It's not fresh inequality. It's carried over and made worse by capitalism, and that's what's brought us to this point and forces us to be in a position of us versus them, and to always fight between factions of the working class rather than fighting against the entrenched hierarchy and oppressive power structures.
So it's really about divide and rule, is it not? It's that old colonial blueprint where you create this divide and rule scenario and point out that even amongst yourselves, he is the boogeyman or vice versa. And of course, this whole issue around the anger against migrants is not new. I'm trying to understand, why is it that we cannot break it down and let the people, all the people across the board, see the situation for what it actually is, and let them direct the anger where it's meant to be directed at our corrupt politicians, people and systems that have been absolutely captured, our media, our legal system, every system under government rule has been completely captured. Why are people not seeing this, or are they also in a sense captured?
Yeah, I think something that we really need to pay attention to right now is the way that our technology arena has changed. When we do activism online, we are flooded right now with trolls and bots. These are bots that are paid for. So you'll post something and get hundreds of comments. And that's a way in which the this sort of inner group of fascist politicians as well as technology barons are able to dominate narratives and change minds. When you have a population that hasn't been taught how to use their digital literacy skills, and struggles to like manage that digital arena, those kinds of things really matter. So I think that that is a huge part of this, is that people don't have good information, and media starts to take the lead from what's on social media, which has been controlled by a handful of billionaires. And so all of these things are feeding into each other and giving people not the right tools to think critically.
Okay, let's look at the leader of March and March. We've just received reports suggesting, and I think it's really going viral as it should, that Jacinta Zuma leads the march against foreigners in South Africa whilst attending exchange programs hosted by foreign governments. I'm certain you've come across that as well. So talk to us about this issue. And it seems that this expose has just broken recently. Do you think it's going to shift the narrative amongst the people on the ground once they get to see these type of exposés?
Gosh, I hope so. It's massively discrediting, but not surprising at all. It is in America's agenda, and it is in Israel's agenda to keep South Africa weak and fractured. It's also in global capital's agenda to keep South Africa weak and fractured. In particular, if South Africa doesn't have a strong democracy and doesn't have a more liberal government, then the ICJ case against Israel is on shaky foundation. It can be withdrawn. So I'm not surprised at all, and I hope that people spread that word around. But we'll see. I mean, I don't have insider information, but that's a very damning report going around for sure.
That and the fact that she and obviously all of her followers are continuing to stoke up the hatred against other Africans from other countries. And the sad reality is that we've seen a couple of busloads of Malawians already having headed home. And people might say that, and I've had a couple of conversations with people in the know, and the feeling now is, despite the situation on this expose of March, the leader of March and March, and other such factions, the feeling is that undocumented workers should be returning home because they should never have been in the country in the first place, simply because they might have got in via bribes and because of our porous borders. How do you view that situation, Madison?
Sure. I mean, the reality is that the overwhelming majority of people that come into South Africa do so legally. Overwhelming majority. They lose their status once they are here. And that is because the Department of Home Affairs is not processing documents. I mean, you can hear my accent. I am originally from the United States. It can take me years to process a visa. So people are coming legally, and they're often coming for work because we allow capital to move across borders wherever it serves capital interest, right? And then once people arrive is when they lose status. So I am not a fan of these colonial borders. For me, it's not the way. I think that there is a valid argument to say if these borders exist, they should be managed in a way that is, dignified first and foremost, but also, that the government has a good, clear picture of who's in the country and who's not in the country and for how long. However, it's not on the migrant who wants to be here legally. People don't want to come illegally. It forces you into very precarious and vulnerable situations. They want to come legally. People try and come legally, or they do come and they lose their status once they're here. And the reality is that March and March can say as much as they want that they're targeting undocumented immigrants, that this is the problem that they have, but that simply doesn't bear out. There are, several hundred people on Che Guevara Road in Durban. Those are documented migrants. And then you have the targeting of dark-skinned people across the country who are Venda and Tsonga and Pedi. So it's simply not true that there is any distinction within March and March about documented versus undocumented. And the responsibility of that documentation is the government's responsibility. And that is where we're seeing the failures.
So we're talking about African migrants, undocumented African migrants. And I kind of wonder, if the anger and the spotlight is not going to then perhaps move to documented migrants, if the anger is that palpable, is there a chance that that could happen? That it could
Oh, I
spill
definitely
over,
think so.
and documented migrants will then be the next target?
No, I think that's absolutely true. It's already happening. I've seen videos of March and March protesters saying it doesn't matter to me whether or not you have documents. We need everyone out. And then it continues to become more tribal division and provincial division, and saying, you know, if you're in Gauteng, you need to be from Gauteng. We can't have people from Northwest coming into Gauteng. We can't have people from Limpopo moving into Gauteng to have jobs. So it's not like we're going to say, oh, we've removed all the undocumented immigrants, problem solved. That's simply not the case. And it's not the case because the reality of the struggle that people are reacting to won't be addressed. It simply won't be addressed by the number of small undocumented immigrants in this country or documented immigrants in this country. The problem is much, much larger than that. We're short 12 million jobs in this country, and there's maybe 3 million immigrants. So you can remove all of the immigrants. It doesn't solve the problem of inequality. It doesn't solve the problem of unemployment. And it doesn't solve the problem of this oppressive capitalist system that we are beholden to.
What is the answer? Because I think in the minds of the people who are so incessant, who are so angry, and who believe believe March and others like them, that it's the immigrants that's stolen your jobs. It's the immigrants that are putting pressure on health services, on the schooling system, etc., etc., etc. And they need to, be run out of the country. How do we change that narrative? And can we hold these people responsible for creating possibly incitement, creating unrest in the country? Because it's serious what they are doing, what Jacinta and her crowd are doing, and others like her are creating unrest, and it could lead to anarchy.
Yeah, so I want to address a few things there. One is this myth of migrant populations putting undue burden on our healthcare and our school systems. If you look into the numbers, migrant communities are more likely to use private healthcare services and to attend private schools, sort of these charter schools that are low budget but outside of the government system. And they make those choices because they are often barred from access to government services, whether directly barred by a vigilante movement or sort of pushed out and made to feel that they don't belong in government services. So that's an important thing to just note. And then I would say that the answer to this, and the only way that we are going to get through this, is through working class solidarity. When people start to realize who the true enemy is here, who are the people really making South Africans' lives difficult, it's the massive corporations, and it's the government in bed with those massive corporations. And we are only stronger when we work together. When we talk about undocumented labor driving down prices, driving down wages, it's not untrue. But the answer isn't to remove a migrant person. The answer is for that migrant person to be absorbed into labor rights. And once we have labor rights across the entire working poor, that's when we can start to legitimately put pressure on the employers, the business owners, and the major corporations.
Let's look at the other issue that we seem to have in the country, yet it seems as if government have actually closed their eyes to it and are totally inactive regarding this matter. We're looking at, I guess, white South Africans who enjoy dual citizenship. They probably, come from the Middle East, from Tel Aviv, from Israel, and they spend, because we know that it's compulsory to join the IDF at age, I think, 16 or 18 when you're there. So they in the country for years in Israel. They then are conscripted. They serve in the Israeli Defense Force. And then after their service period is ended, they fly all around the world on amazing holidays, very especially here in South Africa, and they walk through customs, go back to their first or second homes in South Africa, and live absolutely happily ever after. Nobody stops them, and they have a life of absolute luxury, are not accountable for the lives that they've taken in Gaza and other parts of Palestine.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a huge problem when we look at Cape Town in particular. Helen just met with Jacinta, which is, again, not surprising, but there's a massive problem of white foreigners, and they come from Europe and they come from Israel, buying up property in Cape Town. If you look at the maps, I mean, every 9 out of 10 houses are Airbnbs, and then there's a housing shortage, and then people don't have a place to live. And instead of focusing our energy on this problem of corporate, commercial capture of real estate, we end up focusing on migrants again, where if we can enforce our laws, because it is illegal to go and serve in a foreign army and then live in South Africa. It is illegal to go and commit genocide in Gaza and then come back to South Africa. Those people should be arrested immediately. But instead, we're allowing them to buy up property, which is making rent impossible to afford for the average South African. And so those are the kinds of things that we really need to be focusing on. And if we can take the March on March energy, because I want to be very clear that it's very reasonable for people to be angry at the current situation of South Africa, of the economic situation, of the housing crisis, of wages dropping and unemployment rising. Those are all very legitimate reasons to be angry. But if we want to be successful at changing that situation, then we need to put our sights on the true perpetrators. And that is those corporates and wealthy individuals buying up land and making housing unaffordable for most South Africans.
Finally, we do need to wrap up. It's time for an ad break. But finally, Madison, what about, we've been promised by government in the past that South Africans who serve in the IDF and hold dual citizenship will be arrested on their return to South Africa. We've not heard of any such case. We've not heard of any Israeli or a South African with Israeli citizenship as well, having been arrested when they land back in South Africa.
Yeah, and we have one large petition that we've put out that addresses this directly, but you're absolutely right. We haven't seen that yet. And what we need is a stronger government, a government with a spine, to be honest. This government, in terms of your Department of Trade and Industry, is still managing the coal sales to Israel from South African land. We are not prosecuting IDF genocidaires in the country. So we need to make sure that the government knows that the people of South Africa want to hold Israel and the Israelis walking among us accountable for their actions. And so from that side, we need to see mass participation from people, mass participation out on the streets, in petitions, using every leverage of democracy available to them to make sure that the government knows that we're not going to turn down the heat.
Okay, and I end off with a disclaimer suggesting that we're not anti-Jewish at all. We're not perhaps even anti-Israeli. We are totally anti-Zionism and anti-genocidal, obviously. Madison, it's been wonderful talking to you. Sorry that we've got to cut it there, but we did lose a lot of time earlier on with our technical issues. But till the next time, you go well, and please just hold up that flag as high as you possibly can. God bless.
Thank you so much, Julie. Have a wonderful day.
8:36. This is News and Views moving along. Please stay with us.